Welcome back, Bannock folks. You're watching another episode of Bannockdotes, a podcast that holds it down for the underground sound here in Ontario, Canada. Now, I'm your host, Phil Paxton. Thank you for joining me today. If you aren't already, do me a favor. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, just right down below. Give this video a like and leave a comment in the comments section down below. Tell me if you like it. Tell me if you don't like it. Tell me some of the questions you want me to ask coming up on shows, maybe some you want me to get rid of, maybe questions you're sick of hearing, maybe some guest suggestions, and if you're a guest that wants maybe come out, reach me at bannockdotes@gmail.com, and you could also hit me up at our Instagram, where we're fairly active. That's just at Bannockdotes, where we do all our clips, all the guests that are coming up. We post about the shows that are happening, because we got some shows happening this summer. All the stuff is happening on our Instagram, so follow us there. That would be delightful. Thank you very much. All right, let's get into the shows that are happening. We've got a couple shows left in the month of May, and then we're going to jump into the June shows, and we got lots of shows, so buckle up. This Friday, this weekend, in fact, actually, Adam and the Metalhawks and Revive the Rose are playing a couple shows around Ontario. This Friday, they're in Toronto at Sneaky D's. May 28th, that's Saturday, they're in Ottawa at the Brass Monkey. And Sunday, May 29th, they're in Barrie at the Queens. Friday, May 27th, however, if you're in Brampton, at Spot One Grill and Music Hall, we have Milspect with Mile End, Cohesion, Bar Down, and Gavel. That's going to be a great show. Saturday, May 28th, Niagara Metal Music presents. We have Swap and Drop Dead 5-year anniversary with Fan Addicts, Blood Opera, The House of Haunts, and Electric Dead at Camp Cataract. Friday, June 3rd, in Ottawa, we have Protest Hero, The Aphelion, and Salem Trials, and they're playing at Bronson Center Theater. Saturday, June 4th, in Peterborough, we have Choices Made, The Napoleon, Nothing Serious, and the Bayside Dropouts at Historic Red Dot. In Hamilton, we have Scabs Off, The Slime, and Rest Haven at the Doors Pub that night. But if you're in Cambridge, at Rhythm and Brews Brewing Company, we have Pink Lemonade and Have Hope presents We're Back with Pew Pew Pew, The Anti-Queens, Handheld, Flying Hellfish, Frank Ducks, Your Pal Bill, Psychic Void, Cun and the Bad Look, Koi Pussy, Maraverum, Pep Talk, and Midwife Crisis. June 3rd, that's the Friday, in Toronto, at Sneaky D's, we have Send the Ravens, Diamond Weapon, Sky Caught Fire, and My Evil Twin. Monday, June 6th, in Toronto, we have Satanic Surfers, No Fun at All, Chaser, and Choices Made at the Velvet Underground. Comeback Kid are doing a couple shows. June 9th, they're in St. Catharines at the Warehouse. June 10th, they're at the Community Center in Mount Elgin. And June 11th, they're at Tied Down Fest in Detroit. I know that's not in Ottawa, but I'm plugging this tour. And June 12th, they're at the Rec Room in Buffalo. Wednesday, June 15th, in Kitchener at the Study Room, aka Ask a Punk, we got Massanera, Terry Green, and Basque. Constrain and our homies in Reality Tonight are doing a couple shows. June 16th, they're at the Milton Legion. June 17th, they're at the Doors Pub in Hamilton. And then they're ending that run June 18th at Vastroy. Butchered that name, that's for sure. And that's in Toronto. Make sure you ask for someone or look that up on Google for that place. You can check it up on the screen right there. I definitely butchered that name. Vastroy? Yeah, you get it. Thursday, June 16th in St. Catharines, we have the Mayside celebrating the release of their new beer, Good Old Haze IPA with the Royal North at the Warehouse. Sunday, June 19th in Windsor, we have Hexus, Hell is Other People, and Netheria are at the backstage. Tuesday, June 21st, we have a Bannockdotes Presents in St. Catharines. We have Hexus, Kothra, Temple of Night, and Deciphering the Pale, and that's at Warehouse. Definitely get your tickets for that. They're selling quick. You know, Hexus is they're a cool band. They're actually coming from Copenhagen. That's all the way from fucking Denmark. That's far. So definitely go check them out. They're playing some blackened hardcore, and we're really excited to have them play our small town in St. Catharines. So definitely go check that out. It's gonna shred for sure. However, if you are in Ottawa that night at the Brass Monkey, we have Suffocation with The Atheist, Surreption, Intro, and Gland. Thursday, June 23rd in Toronto at the Hard Luck, we have Dayglow Abortions, Hate Speech album release with Citizen Rage, Dragged In, and Losers. In Hamilton that night at the Doors Pub, we have Cognitive, Tombstoner, Locator, and World's Grasp. Friday, June 23rd, or June 24th, in Windsor at the Backstage, we have Cognitive, Tombstoner, and Vile Driver. Saturday, June 25th, in Niagara Falls at the Upper Space, we have Fight War, Not Wars, Red Cross Benefits Show with Well and Wasted, Border City Beatdown, Dominion, Helephant, and Sin. U.S.S and Kixie are playing a couple shows in Ontario. June 24th at the Bitmore Theatre in Oshawa. June 25th at the Legion in Tillsonburg. June 26th at the Casbah in Hamilton. And then, of course, September 9th and 10th in Mississauga at the Hansa House, we have Damage Control and Solus Music Promotions presents Hold Your Ground Fest 22 with Neverending Game, Mind Force, Pain of Truth, Dare, Momentum, Gridiron, Cohesion, Cold Shoulder, Endgame, Mile End, and many more. Get your tickets at holdyourgroundfest.com. And if I'm not mistaken, you know, those tickets are running out fast, so grab them while you can. We have lots of cool music happening in Ontario. So if you're around any of those dates that are happening this summer in June, come out. It's going to be a good time. Support that local scene. It's been a while. We're thriving. You know, I'd like to say we're thriving right now. A couple of, you know, we had Adam Cameron on, and he just did the tour with Cold Shoulder, and he was super excited. He said, you know, lots of cool shows, lots of young folks are coming out, which is like a new generation. Some people who probably listened to hardcore when they were in the pandemic, when they were in the lockdown, will probably finally get to go to their first show. And, you know, Ontario hardcore is, and the other scenes, whether it's an indie show or a black metal or anything like that, we're happy to make that happen. And there's lots of cool music happening in Ontario. And this is the podcast to hear it all. And this is the podcast to hear all the funny stories. Because if you're new to the show, we bring musicians, promoters, photographers on, get them to tell some of the silliest stories that they have. And let me tell you, this week we had a great guest. We had a friend of mine, Matt Murphy. He's a familiar face of St. Catharines. You've probably seen him taking your money at the L3 nightclub back in the day when those places, when that place used to have a lot of shows happening 3 or 4 times a week. He was always the door guy. If he wasn't there, he was at Detour / Rockford's or whatever it's called now, doing the doors. And not only does he do that, more importantly, he plays in a rad band that you're probably familiar with called U.S.S. That's right. He plays drums in U.S.S. and they're super successful. So he had a bunch of cool stories that he had to tell us, and it was a great time. We poured some Brass Monkeys out, and if you're unfamiliar with what those are, just stay tuned. All right, folks, let's get into it. All right, welcome back, Bannock folks. You're watching another episode. My t-shirt of the week is Dawn Valley. They're a band from the GTA area, and my guest is Matt Murphy. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm feeling good.
This one's your camera.
Okay, cool.
That's your camera. This is our camera. This is my camera. Man. Thank you for joining us today.
No worries. Thank you
for having us.
It's
so good to have
you on. Us. I'm like multiple personality. I watch too much Moon Knight right now. I'm like, there's multiple things going on in here.
Or that's just how you pronounce U.S.S. Us.
Yeah, us. Well, was the joke. Us with an apostrophe and then an S.
Oh,
Us's.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are us's.
Us's. So yeah, you want to tell the audience a bit about yourself?
Yeah, man. I don't know. Like I've been playing music for ever, as long as I can remember, basically. Which is weird because my whole family is non-musical.
Oh, really?
Like I have one cousin that was in a band, and no one else in my whole family plays music.
No.
So I don't know where it came from.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to stress was because everyone's like, "Oh, U.S.S. is a pop band," and I'm like, "Yes, we're alternative rock, sure." But I grew up on punk rock, and punk rock and hardcore are amazing. And also, the DJ in my band grew up on hardcore and punk rock.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like a little known fact about us that like we actually that's what built me.
Absolutely.
Basically. Like skate punk drumming is where I come from. So yeah, for sure.
And like folks would probably, if they don't know you from USS, they would definitely recognize your face from being the door guy
this
because
rosacea face from L3. Yo,
Like,
give me your money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were the door guy for as long as I can remember.
I was in that cage for a good like 10, 12 years
yeah,
for sure.
You
for
probably
sure.
do. You have any idea how many shows you've probably done that for?
Oh my god. No idea, but amazing bands coming through.
Yeah,
like,
always.
Dude, I remember when Bring Me the Horizon played.
Yeah.
And Ollie was hanging from the scaffolding.
Yeah.
And Joyce and Joe, who own L3, they were like losing it. They were like, there's gonna be a lawsuit. Like, no. And it's like that's what it happens. It's fine. You know? And then you go to like the Madball show.
Yeah.
Where like literally the SWAT team showed up.
Yeah.
And they're like, Murphy, watch the door. Don't let anyone leave. And I'm like, this little dude with like a million New York hardcore guys running at me. I'm like, yeah, that's not gonna work.
It's not gonna work. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I remember that one. That one.
That was a crazy
Comeback
one.
Kid.
Yeah.
And
Comeback Kid, Madball. What a show, man.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
I think I left early because I was like, this is getting dangerous.
It got super dangerous. Like it did.
That's the only time I've ever done that.
Yeah, where you're just like out of a show.
I'm like, I've seen Comeback Kid before.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
need.
okay. I'm okay.
I think they've only got Wake the Dead left. Like people are gonna pop off of that. I get it. I'm going.
Yeah, shout out Neufeld.
Yeah. What's that? They turned on the lights. They did everything.
Legit, the SWAT team showed up in the van. The SWAT van showed up with riot gear. It was nuts, man. Like,
I didn't know that.
My buddy who was security there, I won't say his name, but he was doing security, and he got in a brawl with the guy. And you know how there's the back stairs behind the stage?
Yep.
They, in like a brawl, rolled down that whole stairwell.
Like like right out of a cartoon.
Yeah,
like,
literally out of a cartoon, and then out the back door there. Like it was nuts. So,
Wow.
yeah, it was pretty
That was
insane.
intense.
Yeah.
So needless to say, we come from some punk and hardcore roots.
Yo, been around. It's all good. Yeah.
And so, how long have you been playing in USS?
So I started in September 2011. So just over 10 years.
Cool.
Yeah,
Wow.
and they've been going since. I mean, Jay and Ash had a band called Team of Captains with another guy, Charles. Hello, Charles. And then he left and U.S.S. kind of started, and they never had a drummer. And then finally they switched management because their manager at the time was like, you don't need a drummer. You guys are good.
Sure.
But they were always getting like, well, you're not a real band because it's just a guy on stage playing music and then a guitar player.
Right.
So finally, it's funny, Jay called me, and I thought he was calling me to be their tour manager. And he's like, do you want to drum? And I was like, oh, yeah, let's do this. And I had to learn 17 songs in 3 days.
Wow.
And I went to rehearsal, to audition. I went to auditions.
Yeah.
Because I was assuming there's other people auditioning. Mm-hmm. And we just sat there and hung out like we always do. And then I'm like, should I get on the drums and play like a song or something? And they're like, oh no, man, you already got it. And I was like, I was so stressed out. I'm like, are you kidding me? But then it was like, oh, in 2 days from now, we're playing Kingston, which is my family's hometown.
Okay. So
I was sitting in the van literally until we had to go on stage, listening to the songs to be like, okay, I remember this one. Like, I know how it goes, right? And I probably still messed it up, but no one else noticed.
Yeah.
Except for me.
That's super cool.
Yep.
Do we want to get into some Brass Monkeys?
Okay, we should do this. Okay, so we should introduce it.
Yeah.
So everyone knows a brass monkey, I would hope. Maybe not.
Maybe not, if you want to explain it.
So originally it was like a malt liquor, usually OE, with orange juice. But my buddy opened a bar downtown called Brass Monkey, and his rendition is PBRs with a little splash of Sunny D.
Nice.
And it's absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit hungover, so let's go.
Let's get into some. Yeah. Kyle, do you want one?
Oh, I got a glass for you already, Kyle.
Perfect.
Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, and shout outs to that's Robbie Knuckles.
Robbie Knuckles
Plays in the Lucky Ones.
The Lucky Ones. I was in that band.
Yeah.
It was fun times.
Really cool bar. If anyone hasn't been down there, like the aesthetic in there, it's just like same vibe as this. You got posters all over the wall. They got really cool memorabilia in there. They make really good food. Love the food there. I get food there all the time.
Yeah,
and,
the food's incredible actually, and the portions are like, how are you covering your food costs, bro? Like that's a lot.
When I worked right next door, because I worked right next door.
Yep.
That was like, I had to tell myself, I couldn't get lunch there all the time because I'd be spending that's like taken out every day. That would be my special food. Thursday would come around, and it's like my other coworker would come in. Like I think we would always get the hot dogs. We were the big fan of the hot dogs.
Those hot dogs, dude, they're like gigantic. Like I know they're the Nathans, like the footlongs or whatever, but they're literally a foot long.
They're massive.
Like they're huge. So yeah, a little splash, not a lot, just
Not
a little,
eh?
a little touch, little baby touch.
Cheers
to Bannockdotes and to representing Niagara music.
Yeah,
I love it.
Thank
I
you.
love it.
Thank you.
It's tasty.
Wow, that is tasty.
There's it's just that little splash.
Yeah.
That's all you need. Yeah.
Shout outs to Brass Monkey. Yeah.
Brass Monkey.
Go check out
Robbie.
Brass Monkey if you haven't.
Yep. St. Paul Street. See you down there.
So yeah, let's get back to U.S.S. for a bit.
Yep.
Yeah, so your one bandmate, Jason.
Yes. Human Kebab.
Human Kebab. Where's the name come from?
Human Kebab?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Jay is a historian at heart.
Okay, cool.
And when he went to oh my god, I'm gonna screw this up. What's in Peterborough? Not Fleming. What's the other university in Peterborough? He's gonna hate me for this. Whatever. So he was in university in Peterborough, and he was obsessed with Vlad the Impaler.
Okay.
So the original Dracula, right?
Yeah.
And so the guy used to put all of his enemies that he killed, like he would impale them. But he was also really into shawarma.
Right.
So his friends in college just came up with the nickname Human Kebab.
Nice.
Because he loved that and he loved shawarma and then that just became his DJ name.
Right.
Right?
Oh, so that was his DJ
So that's
name.
how he started, was
Okay.
Human Kebab, as the DJ,
Yeah.
right? And it's funny because he actually opened for Ash.
Okay.
Yeah. And then they met on a golf course. They were both working.
That's right.
Yeah, they were both working in this restaurant on the golf course. And mutual co-workers were like, you should meet this guy because he's a weirdo and he loves music. And you should meet this guy because he's a weirdo and loves music. And so that's how the band kind of got together.
Have you ever gone golfing with them?
No, I'm trash at golf. I mean, I've golfed, I golfed a lot when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I'm horrible at it.
Yeah, I'm not very good. I like golfing, but I'm not good.
I'm a disc golfer now.
Yeah, that's actually one of my questions.
Yeah.
Do you do that often?
Yeah, we try and get out as much as we can.
Do you just go to the
I'm
park?
also trash at that too, but it's fun. It's super fun, right?
It's way more relaxed than golf. Golf
Yeah.
is already a relaxed sport, but
yeah.
disc golf is
Disc golf, you could literally, Illich, my buddy Illich, will literally have a beer in his hand and throw at the same time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's how you play it.
That's how you play. Do you just go to the one downtown?
We also go to Fireman's in Niagara Falls.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that one's probably a lot better.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
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 Compared to Centennial. No, I'm not trying to crap on downtown St. Catharines,
Right.
but Centennial's dicey.
Yeah, it could be. You never
Yeah.
know who you're gonna run into down there.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah.
Einstein's of Consciousness was the final release of U.S.S. And that came out the beginning of last year. Were you involved in that process of the writing?
So with that album, not so much, but it's funny because we actually had some of those songs, like Big Life. We were playing Big Life 4 or 5 years ago. We did the music video for Big Life easily 4 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. And because of everything that happens with COVID, so the album was done, and we're on Warner. So Warner was just like, when do you want to put it out? And we
Okay.
were like, well, obviously right before a tour. And then we had the tour prepared. and cancel. Like, I literally lost 3 jobs in one day because of COVID.
Oh no.
I was DJing merch, Kaz's, and playing in U.S.S. And all in one day, I got a call from every one of them being like, yeah, so we don't need you. Like, and well, U.S.S. was like, the tour is canceled.
Yeah, right.
But like, or postponed. But like, the other 2 bars were like, yeah, like Kaz's was like, yeah, so it seems like we're just gonna close down for like 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and then you'll be back. And I'm like, okay. And then it was just like 2 years later, and then
Yeah.
Kaz is closed.
It's
It doesn't
done.
even exist.
Yeah, it
So,
doesn't even exist
yeah.
anymore.
So yeah, COVID. What a little beast.
Yeah, I know, eh? And you folks announced final dates coming up in the summer.
Yeah.
Get your tickets at USSmusic.com for
Yeah.
that. That's going to be awesome.
Thank you.
Where's the last show for that one?
So we did this last tour, and we almost got through all of it. And the last 2 shows were the sold out shows at History in Toronto.
Oh, yeah.
And literally the day before, or maybe like the week before, or whatever, July Talk played at History, and one of their people got COVID, which happens.
Yeah.
And then History came to us, and they're like, Ford's putting in the new lockdown protocol again, so you can do Friday, but you can't do Saturday. But we're gonna take Saturday and make that the Friday, or you can just wait. And we're like, well, we'll wait. And then they're trying to give us like Echo Beach
Right.
on a Tuesday or something.
Wild.
And so we were just like, well, and then History came back, like the actual club itself was just like, well, we'll just give you Friday and Saturday again, but we'll push it till June. And we're like, that's perfect.
Yeah.
But it was crazy. We were literally playing Kitchener, and we heard that History was canceled.
Oh no.
And we were like, so is this our last show ever? Like not Kitchener, Guelph.
Right.
I was like, is this our last show ever? Like, all of us got like really emotional.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll never see these guys again. What's going on? Like, oh, it was crazy. And then they're like, oh, no. Like, you still have History in June. And then because of that, other dates just started getting added, right? So it was funny. And I'm not ripping on Alexis on Fire because I love those guys. I know those guys. They're great people. But when Alexis originally called it quits, they literally played shows 3 months later. And I said to Jay Parsons in the band, I was like, we can't do an Alexis. Like, if we're calling it quits, we're calling it quits.
Yeah.
And now we've all of a sudden, like, 3 months later, it's like, oh, we've got 8 more shows, right? So, yeah. So, shout out Alexis, though. New album's going to be dope.
That's going to be cool. And Dead Tired just put out some stuff, too.
Oh, yeah.
I just checked out that tune. I don't know, like...
that song is so good, eh? So Marco Brissett, that guitar player in the band, so not Franz, but the other guy.
Yeah.
He produced all the Del Asher album. Or not produced, he engineered all the Del Asher albums that we put out. Yeah, so, and he played in Del Asher.
Really?
Yeah, when we needed a guy.
That's
we were
cool.
just like, hey man, like,
and now he's working out of Dead Quarters, right?
Yeah, that's his home base.
Yeah,
which is
super
amazing.
cool.
Yeah, he was Julius Buddy's, the guy that did the Alexis albums and Dallas Green's albums. He was his engineer forever, and then he's got his own thing now, which is great. Yeah, he's an amazing talent too.
Yeah.
Like, crazy guitar player.
Yeah. That's super cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I think we have some plans. I think we're going to be working with them soon.
Nice.
I don't know
That's great.
We might even have to cut that out. We're not sure. Who knows? Yeah, but so your last show would what in Toronto is the last?
So this is the madness now. So the last 2 shows are History, June 10th and 11th. But what got added was, so we're friends with Mike Weckerly, who owns El Macambo. He was one of the Dragon's Den judges.
Oh, cool.
And he's like part owner of like Wahlburgers. Like,
nice.
Yeah, this dude's like, he's a character for sure.
Yeah.
So we played a festival at his own home property, because he did this like charity festival every year.
Yeah.
So we played that, and he came on stage with us. Like, Jay put him on his shoulders and scratched with his foot and whatever. So we became like really good friends with this guy. And he bought the Alma Combo right before it was going to get sold to just like random real estate.
Okay.
Because he wanted to revitalize it and keep it around because it's one of the most epic venues in Toronto. So we're doing Alma Combo June 1st, 2nd, and 4th. But then because we had the 3rd off, Edmonton came back at us at Midway, and tickets are on sale now. And they were like, well, we want one more U.S.S. show. And then Ottawa came at us, and they're like, well, we want one more U.S.S. show. So now we're doing El Macombo, Edmonton, El Macombo, couple days off, Ottawa, Toronto, like history,
Wow.
yeah. So it'll be a crazy run.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be exhausted.
Yeah.
Like this last tour, I was saying to Jay, I'm like, I'm old, man. Like my body's not built. Like we had a week off in Victoria, and I was so stoked because I was just like, I just stayed in my hotel the whole time. I woke up in the morning, went and got breakfast in Starbucks, and then came back to the hotel room and was like, yeah, I'm good.
Just gonna
I'm
watch
like,
movies?
yeah, I'm just like, dude, I'm 41. My body is just like, stop touring.
Yeah.
You can't do it anymore, bro. Yeah.
And the band has so much history with Toronto, right?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Especially with how like the band broke up and then got played on the Edge and then like
yeah. So that was the crazy thing too. When the first EP came out, they kind of like it was a hiatus sort of breakup. Like they were just like nothing's happening, so like whatever. And then Alan Cross, love Alan Cross, by the way. He was just like, he was the music director for The Edge, and so he brought Hollow Point to the table with all of his other like DJs and stuff, and was like, "What do you think about this? I think we should play it." And unanimously, they were like, "Yeah, let's play it." And then Jay was already out in Edmonton on like not even Edmonton, like Alberta, like on the oil pipeline.
Really?
Yeah, that was his job. And he got called from the manager at the time and was like, you need to fly back because The Edge is playing you guys nonstop and we booked a bunch of shows.
Yeah.
And then so the band like luckily got back together. At least
crazy.
for me, luckily got back together. So for sure.
And then what? Here we are now. You got how many gold records and platinums?
So so stupid. Yeah, so I got like 3 gold records and 2 platinums.
That's a huge deal.
I mean, it's nice to
You're the
nice
first
to
guest.
have. It's nice to have, you know, for sure. Yeah.
And for what songs are they?
So gold and platinum for This Is the Best, gold and platinum for Yin Yang, and then Work Shoes just went gold.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like it was like I put it, and not to it's Mother's Day. My mom passed away, but when I got that first gold record, I was like, she would have loved this. Like I was so emotional. Yeah. So yeah.
Shout outs to my mom also passed away.
Oh.
So here we are on Mother's Day.
To moms,
Yeah, to moms. Well, now this is a dumb question. I just thought of it. Can you play those records?
like drumming?
No, I mean like, can you actually like?
Oh no, the actual record. No.
You can't.
I mean, you could try, but
they're not. No.
Imagine they should be.
That's
though.
what I mean.
They literally should be.
Here we are. Like if they're giving you a platinum record.
Well, gold's really malleable, so I feel like even if you put a needle on it, it would just like dig into it. Yeah. So.
It just becomes a hole.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
Do you have any musical endeavors lined up for U.S.S. After the band now, and because you've been doing DJing a bit.
Yeah. I don't get me wrong, I love DJing. It's super fun and the money's amazing. But no, so I think I can talk about this. So Jay has another project going that I have nothing to do with.
Okay.
At all. I'm gonna put that out there because you might watch this and be like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
But I would love to have something to do with it. But so in COVID I just started, like, I got a new like home like kind of studio like rig going on, and I wrote like, I think I'm at like 30 songs now.
Wow.
And they're just little funny ideas, instrumentals, like not really any vocals. But then I was sending them back and forth with Jay, right? And we were bouncing those back and forth. And then he has his new thing with Adam from 3 Days Grace.
Oh, cool.
Like the original singer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can say this because they announced it. I'm allowed to say
okay.
this. I'm pretty sure. But like, so those songs are insane. So then I've just been trying to learn those songs on drums.
Nice.
Just in case.
Anything comes up.
Just in case, Parsons.
Yeah.
But yeah. So like, I mean, I'll always write music. I don't think I could ever not play music.
Be involved with music.
It would drive me insane if I didn't do something musically.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, for sure.
That's cool. That's super cool.
I really want to get back into punk rock. I'm not gonna lie. Like when I left the Lucky Ones, it was funny. They wrote a song about it. But like it was such a fun time with those guys.
Yeah.
Like, and just like dirty punk rock is just fun,
Yeah.
you know?
There's a
Like,
lot of like carefreeness to
yeah, I
it.
think 90% of our songs were just about drinking. Like, maybe like 10% were about like relationships or something, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like my band Hellbent.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
very smoke oriented.
Yeah,
So we're always
yeah.
talking
Well,
about
a great
smoking.
band too. I love
Yeah,
them. I
thank
love
you.
them. Yeah, no, no. Respect. Yeah, for sure.
And has there been any bands that have caught your attention in Ontario with the last couple of years or so? Anything that you've been really jamming in Ontario?
Ontario, damn. You're putting me on the spot right now.
On the spot.
It's bad because I'm probably going to be like, no.
Yeah. I always want a guest to be like, no, there's
Yeah.
zero bands that I listen
Well,
to.
this is the worst part. Okay, and I don't know if other guests have said this, but being in a band and touring took me out of the music scene. Like, I don't go to shows. Like, shows kind of drive me insane now.
Right.
Like, I get really bored, and I'm old, so
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, I'm like tired. Like, I want to go home.
Yeah.
So it definitely took me out of the music scene, and it kind of bummed me out because I see like My Son the Hurricane playing, and like Jacob's always talking about bands and like local artists, and I'm just like, I don't know who that is. Like, what are you talking about?
Right.
So unfortunately, no. Like, yeah, like I don't know. Like in Ontario, no.
It's fair. It's fair. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard to keep up with all the bands that are happening,
Yeah.
right? There's
Yeah.
so many bands that are happening.
True.
And even like you bring up a very good point.
Oh,
like,
actually, I can say one Ontario band, and he was on here. Lastly,
yeah.
Keegan. I love Lastly.
Oh, we love Keegan.
Lastly's
He's
dope,
great.
man.
Yeah.
Lastly's dope, and shout out to Scott too.
Scott
like,
too. Yeah.
What? Scott's a way better drummer than I am. 100%. I can easily admit that. So yeah.
And you brought up a really good point of like, you know, being in a touring band, going to a show can sometimes feel like you're at work, but you're not getting paid to do it. Like, you know what I mean? It's got a
Yeah.
different vibe. Of course, you love going to the shows and supporting everybody. That's why you're there.
Yeah.
But like you do, like, you know, getting at our age, your feet do get tired. You want to sit
man.
down. You want to
Yeah.
like, you know, I'm not even one to even drink at shows anymore. I'm really
Yeah.
just like, you know, I'll have maybe a Red Bull to keep me awake, to be honest. Like, and when they get too late, I'm like, I know I have nothing planned for tomorrow, but
Dude,
like,
I'm trying to understand how I survived any Warp Tour.
oh my
Like,
god,
I'm
yes,
just like, I'm like, how did I stand for 12 hours and watch like 20, 30 bands play?
yeah,
I don't get it. Like, my body's just like, now I'm just like when I was working for Matt Barisi
Yeah.
doing the door, and it would be a 7-band bill, because hardcore shows are like that, right?
and well, Breezy definitely stacked the bills.
Yeah, well, he's
much
trying
as
to
he could.
he's trying to get some cash, and I'm like, oh my god, this is band 2.
Yeah.
Like, are you happen kidding
It's-
me right
it's
now?
8:30?
Like, yeah, it's
Oh,
8:30,
come
and I got
on.
5 more of this. Like, come on, like, you know, and no offense to any of those bands,
No,
but it
not
was
at
just
all.
like, I'm like, oh, why? Especially at Rockford's, because Rockford's, like, can we just be honest? Rockford sounded like shit.
Didn't have a good sound.
It
It
was
had
brutal.
a weird setup where like your like bands like quote unquote green room backstage.
Yeah, there
your
was-
setup was upstairs.
Yeah,
And,
it was
like,
brutal.
and
I
what-
did sound there a couple times, and I'm like, this is, like, you would have to run downstairs and be like, okay, does it sort of sound okay? And then you go back upstairs, and you're like, well, it sounds fine here, but, like, it probably sounds horrible down there.
Yeah, it was a weird setup. And like every time it got bought, the venue owners couldn't do anything about that kitchen back there.
Yeah.
All of them wanted to create a kitchen back there, but there
Yeah.
was something that was holding back. I couldn't exactly remember, but
Yeah.
like, yeah, not my favorite venue. I mean, I would have even taken. We had Coca Cabanas for a bit. That was like, that was an okay like
Yeah.
temporary spot.
Yeah, it
That's a
wasn't-
hole now. I don't know if you've been downtown.
Yeah, it's brutal, yeah.
It's just not even an existing
Dude, I would
building.
take, what was Timmer's place?
73.
I'd take 73 over
That was
Rockford's.
old Rock. Oh, that's Rock Universe now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
73 was funny because the band would start playing, and it was all just off one power source,
Yeah.
and everything would shut off.
Yeah. Everything would flicker. Yeah, people would punch holes in the
Oh,
wall.
yeah.
It was DIY. Like,
But in, like, the best,
that's
like,
what I was gonna
the
say.
best
In the
sense.
best
Yeah.
way. Like,
Yeah.
shout outs to Timmer for making that
Yeah.
happen. He made a lot of stuff happen in
Yeah,
St.
for sure.
Catharines
Yeah.
because of that spot, right?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
So was Del Asher your first band that you played in?
Not my first band whatsoever. So when I started, I was in high school, and my buddy Chris Cadell, who is in a million bands now. He's in Big Rec. He plays with Sass Jordan. He
Oh,
plays with
cool.
Colin James. So we were like 14, 15. So we originally started as like doing Nirvana and Green Day covers
Yeah.
at the high school like cafeteria.
Yeah.
But he really gravitated towards Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jimi Hendrix, and he became a blues guy. So the myself, Chris, and Mark, I forget Mark's last name at this point, three-piece blues band. So we'd be like 15 years old playing these bars downtown Belleville where we grew up. Uh, like blues music. They straight up
That's
Stevie
cool.
Ray Vaughan and Big Sugar and like tons of Jimi Hendrix, and a million other like Muddy Waters and all these other blues artists, right? Uh, and it was just like everyone gravitated towards it because they're so young and they're doing it, and it's like, and I was a horrible drummer. I don't know how I was in this band, yeah. So that's where I originally started,
Yeah.
and it was funny. Like as soon as we were done our you do 3 sets, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as we were done, we had to leave because we were too young to be in the bar.
Can't hang out. Yeah.
And there would be like people coming up and trying to give us shots, and like the bartenders are like, no, they're like 15 years old, like no, like stop. And so that's how I started playing music, was with those guys. Like really, like I mean I played in grade school, but like that's my first like band
Yeah.
experience and like getting out there. And then I mean I had my own like skate punk band called Exit the Scene, which is still my Yahoo email, which
Nice.
is funny as
Nice.
hell. Yeah,
Exit
no,
the
I think
Scene.
my Twitter's Mad Exit. Like,
yeah.
So- that's old school. That's going back.
And how did you like gravitate towards that punk rock scene?
So my sister was into a lot of like rock and roll and stuff. And she was into like a lot of Guns N' Roses, but she loved the Ramones.
Yeah.
And so my first kind of like introduction to punk rock would probably be through that.
Yeah.
But my first big thing was, this is a banecdote, even though it's supposed to be at the end, but
That's fine.
so obviously NoFX was kind of like a band I listened to. Like Ribbed was like, I was like, these vocals are so bad, but the songs are so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I came up here because I lived in St. Catharines when I was a kid,
Okay.
and I came up here to hang out with my best friend. Oh, my parents are not gonna like this story. And I went to like a party.
Yeah.
So he's a couple years older than me. I went to a party and like smoking weed and whatever. And like I was just drinking everything because they thought it was funny. They're like, oh, drink this, drink whatever. So I wake up the next morning and there's literally, for you kids that don't understand, a boom box beside me.
Yeah.
So I'm on a couch and there's this boom box. There's a stereo down here, right? And I just hit play on it. And Face to Face, Disconnected comes on.
Cool.
And I was like, what is this? And I literally kept rewinding and I listened to that song like 6 times before my buddy finally woke up and like we left because it was just at a random house. And I was just like, holy crap. Like it was game changing. It did something in my brain where I was just like, this is amazing. I love this. Let's go.
Yeah.
And then that's where like the kind of skate punk start came
Yeah.
from, right? And it was on Fat Records, and I'm like, oh, everything Fat Records is amazing, which
Yep.
it kind of is.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I just that's where I started with it.
That's super
A
cool.
party in St. Catharines.
Yeah. A party in
Started my career. Yeah.
And you were involved with the sound quite a bit, actually. You not only, and which was like a newspaper that covered a lot of the local Niagara scene.
Yeah.
That must have been tough covering everything, eh?
It was yeah, because there's so much, right?
Yeah.
So we had a lot of people working on it, especially like when it came to the podcast, we had like, I think there was 4 of us at the core, but we always had like 2 other people on every podcast.
Yep.
And you would bring your own kind of stories to it, whatever. And it didn't necessarily have to be something in the paper, but shout out to Chris Illich for that, because like he did the hard work on that, and
Right.
still does. Like he's trying to relaunch it actually.
Okay, I was just
Yeah,
about to ask.
I think he was saying like maybe July he might
Okay,
start. So
great.
yeah, but writing for that, it's just it's funny, when I was a little kid, I almost failed grade 2 because I couldn't read and write.
Sure.
Because in grade 1 I was taught memorization, not phonetics.
Okay.
So when I got into grade 2, I moved to Belleville in grade 2, and it was a nun teacher too as well,
Oh.
right? Yeah. So yeah, that's how old I am. And she was like, she talked to my parents, and she's like, Matt might fail grade 2, because he can't read.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, so then I got crazy about it, and it got like really intense, and I'm like, I'm gonna master all
Sure.
of this. And then so that's just like a thing. Like I just want to write, and hopefully it's okay.
Yeah.
And people like it.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, I got really weird with it. It was a little bit of an obsession. So yeah, for
and,
sure.
And yeah, you guys did the podcast, which was super cool.
Yeah.
How many episodes of that? Like that didn't like I listened to that. I would always listen to that on my
I
walk to work.
honestly want to say like 70, but I might be way wrong on
Yeah?
that.
Wow.
But like maybe 70.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
so
know.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you guys were putting it out
It was
weekly too, right?
yeah, it was, and the only reason I mean, well, there's multiple reasons we kind of just stopped it, but basically Jacob had a baby,
Yeah.
and he was our editor
Yeah.
as well as our like kind of main front
He was
man.
kind of like the MC,
Yeah,
I guess you
and
could
it was
say.
just like, thanks, Jacob.
Yeah. There you go, Jacob. You
Yeah.
ruined another podcast.
Another podcast. Yeah.
That's funny. And you have a Twitch channel too, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
What do you do mostly on it? Is that music or
Yeah,
games?
it's so I've done a little bit of gaming, but it's mostly music, and looking back on it, I'm like, this must be so boring because I talk to myself. The reason I did it was because writing music, if I just sit at home on my own, yeah, I can pick up a guitar and like try and write a song, or I can like load up like oh my god, I was gonna say Logic or Pro Tools, which is not Ableton. I can load up Ableton and like write something. But if I think, even if no one's in the chat, if I think someone's watching, I'm more productive.
Sure.
Because I'm like, oh, like maybe they're entertained by this little thing I did, right? So that's where the Twitch channel, and COVID, that's where the Twitch channel came from.
Yeah.
I was lonely, and I was like, boom, I'm going live. Like,
Yeah.
check this out. So yeah,
Twitch is a super cool platform.
Yeah,
been
100%.
trying to like I've gone on there and done some drumming. I did like I
Yeah.
have just like an electric kit over there, and I'll do some
yeah.
drumming along. And I don't do it too often. I've tried to even stream some of our D&D sessions.
Oh yeah.
Just to see like if it's any, because our D&D sessions are wild. Obviously, we're just a bunch of
Okay.
guys fucking around, right?
Nice,
Like,
man.
you know, having a good
Dude,
time.
I haven't played Dungeons and Dragons since I was like 15.
It's good times.
Yeah, for
we'll
sure.
have to play sometime.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
And I know I'm like, well, Kyle, you're pretty active on Twitch. So if anyone's watching,
Check out Kyle's Twitch.
Check out
Check it
Kyle's
out.
Twitch at this. I don't know what your handle is off the top of my head, so you can check it right here. Yeah, no, so that's cool. So it's mainly music oriented and doing.
Yeah, so it's just basically me. So I was using this program called Amplify, which is this UK program. It's kind of like Splice or Arcade, where it's like segments of like melodies or beats or whatever, but you can get in there and literally chop them up and do
Cool.
whatever you want. So I was doing a lot of that, just for because it's more entertaining
Yeah.
than, like, I was watching this band, The Midnight, which I really love, like the synthwave band.
Yeah, I love the Midnight.
And the one main guy was doing Twitch streams as well, like I think he was using Logic, and like he's in there, and that's cool, but it's like so boring because he's literally like, I'm gonna move this snare over here, and I'm gonna put the
Sure.
kick drum over here, and it just takes forever.
Yeah.
Whereas like Amplify is a little bit more like, here's a cool thing, and I'm gonna mess around with it and reverse it and whatever, and like I can, like, my whole thing with the stream was like I had to finish a song.
Right.
Like, it wasn't like I'm working on something. It's like, no, in this like 4-hour stream, we're gonna finish a song.
We're gonna
right?
start
Yeah.
and finish a song.
Yeah.
That's super cool, and it's like more improvised too,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Well, and if anyone was in chat, I'm like, what do you guys think? And like,
Yeah.
I was getting feedback. Like, this one guy I know, I was like, dude, if this song actually makes money, I owe you like 2 points on it. Like, because he was like, no, right there, cut out the drums, and it made the whole track. And I was like, damn, you're right.
It reminds me of you ever watch? There's one streamer. I don't know if he's on Twitch. Mark Ribier.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm
Where-
I'm obsessed with Mark Rivera.
Yeah, where he's just like doing like 4-hour streams.
So he's got his own show now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's got his own show, and it looks like Wayne's World basement.
Nice.
And guests come over, and they just riff out for like 2 hours. Like it's crazy. It's on like Hulu or something.
Oh, cool. Yeah, of course, the one platform we can't get.
Yeah, I know, right? The one platform in Canada where it's like, oh shit. I'm pretty sure you can watch it on YouTube. But yeah, but he's amazing. That guy is like literally the best of music.
Yeah, he's super entertaining.
Yeah, him and if it comes to like personalities, him and John Batiste, Stephen Colbert's head piano player, like that. I mean, I know he just won a ton of Grammys, but like I've been into that guy for like 8 years now, and I'm just like, holy crap, like you're killing it, and he's so positive.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool. I think we can get in some anecdotes.
Oh crap.
Right on. So let's talk about.
I might need to crack this other beer.
You might need to crack the other one.
I got more if you guys need them. I got more if you need them.
I'm not driving anywhere after.
I'm not lying. I got more. Kyle, are you good?
Yeah. Well,
you have another one? Okay, you got to bring
your
glass out.
Another one for the anecdotes.
But no, I was talking to Parsons in U.S.S. and I'm like, because we have a lot of funny stories.
Right.
But I'm like, and not that any of them are like nefarious in nature by any means, but some of them maybe just shouldn't be talked about.
Sure.
So I was like, well, what ones can I talk about and which ones should I not talk about? So to start, he was talking about the last tour, and he's like, you should just talk about the last tour because the last tour was insane. Like we didn't even know if we were gonna ever be able to go on tour, right?
Right.
So the band could have ended without a final tour. But we got out there, and first show in Buffalo. So we did 2 shows in Town Ballroom. First show in Buffalo. For some reason, there was champagne on the rider, which we never have. And I'm like, what? 2 bottles of champagne, whatever. So the final, and so this is night 1 though. It's not even night 2. It's night 1. And Ash brings out the champagne for the encore. Okay. And he's got cups, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna pour, and we can all cheers at the end. It'll be like a very nice gesture. No. He cracks the champagne, pours it all over himself, then takes off his shirt, wrings it into the glass, and Ash is a sweater. He's a big time sweater. Like, I'm sorry, Ash. Ashley Buchholz, I love you. You're my brother, but like, rings it into the glass. Yeah. Then drinks it.
Oh my God. He didn't serve you guys it.
No.
Thank God.
And there's like this much in the bottle, and he's like, Murphy. And I'm like, yeah, I'm good, man. Like, don't worry about it. So this is just part 1 of a 3-part thing. So then we're playing Edmonton, and we have a song called Work Shoes. Right. Someone throws their work boots onto the stage. He pours his drink into the boot, chugs it down, spits it back into the boot, and chugs it again. And I'm like literally almost vomiting side stage. Like I'm like behind my drums, and I'm just like, because I have a really easy gag reflex. And I'm like, I was like, no, don't. And the second time I was like, God damn it, man. Like it was funny as like shit though. Like, we were all laughing. Like the crowd was loving it. Then we get to Vancouver, and there's this like old like chair from like 1960s classroom. Yeah. Off stage for some reason, randomly. And there's all sorts of dried gum under it. So he brings out the chair, and the whole fan base is like, chair. Then randomly, because he does this one acoustic song on his own, like he just picks a random song every night, but it's like an acoustic moment. Yeah. And he pulls off the gum underneath and starts chewing it.
Jesus Christ.
And I'm like, no, like, what are you doing? So basically this last tour was just what's Ash gonna ingest tonight?
Yeah, really.
Yeah, it was quite interesting, for sure.
Gum from friggin'
like 1960.
I was just gonna say, like, when gum was invented.
He was like, it's so old, there's nothing in it anymore, and I'm like, it's still disgusting. Like, no matter what you're doing, it's pretty horrible. Yeah. So yeah.
That's quite fun.
Yeah.
That's
it was
so always a party when you folks are playing.
Well, I never know what Jay and I never know what he's gonna do.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a good time.
Which is it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, don't get me wrong, I love it, but it's like
Oh yeah.
you honestly don't know who you're getting
Yeah.
any given night. So,
That's super cool.
yeah, and
Right on.
he's an entertainer for sure,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like a natural entertainer.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've got other ones too, but there's two others I can't tell 100%. I'm trying to think. Man, you said come up with 3 or 4. I'm gonna count that as 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was a good one right there.
I don't really know, man. I mean, outside of like the typical like Del Asher, where like sleeping in parking lots, like that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nothing with other bands though. Other bands have always been sweethearts.
That's good.
I don't think there's ever been one show I've ever played where I'm like, screw those guys.
Right.
Like ever, which is kind of a rarity. I feel like that happens a lot, but
Quite often,
but yeah, for sure, man.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's good
definitely,
to know.
definitely. I really want to tell you about Singapore, but that's not gonna happen.
We'll do it off camera.
That's okay.
Is Singapore the furthest you've ever played from home?
Yeah. So Singapore, it was funny. It was like my first. I flew a couple times with the guy, so I never flown until I was in this band because
Wow,
I was
that's
so
cool.
scared of it. I was so like frightened of flying, and as soon as I got on my first flight, I'm like, "This is amazing!" Like I loved it. But so, this is another anecdote again about Ash. So we fly to Singapore and we go Toronto to Japan,
Yeah.
and then we go 7.5 hours down to Singapore. So 12 hours to Japan, and right off the bat, like stewardess comes by, and if it's an international flight, drinks are free.
Okay.
So I'm like, yeah, I'll take like a little bottle of red wine and like a vodka soda, and she serves us, and Ash gets whatever, like a beer or something, and then she comes back the second time, and there's the little pillows that you have,
Yeah.
and he's taken the pillowcase off and he's wearing it as a hat. And so it's myself at the aisle, Ash here in the middle, and then random person in the window, and Jay's in front of us. And she's like, I was like, yeah, I'll take another like red wine. And she's like, well, unfortunately, sir, I can't serve you. And I was like, oh, like why? And then she like just points at Ash, and I look over and he's wearing the thing as a hat because she thought he was wasted. And I'm like, no, he's just a weirdo. Like, and then Parsons, who already got his drinks, is laughing his ass off in front of me. And I'm like, yo, pass me like one of those wines back. Like, come on, man. Like, so I got cut off for a 12-hour flight because of weirdo Ash wearing a thing. Oh my God. I was pissed, man.
Damn.
I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the flight down to Singapore was great though, because no one was on the plane, and it was the 4-seaters in the middle.
Yeah.
So I was like, can I go lie down? They're like, yeah, you can lie down. Just put a seatbelt around you. So we all slept until Singapore, and then Singapore gets crazy again. Yeah.
Yeah. Again.
Nothing bad, people. But Singapore gets a little. I was attacked in Singapore in not attacked. Maybe that's a bold word.
Sure.
No, accosted is still bold. I don't know. I was confronted.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I realized I couldn't swim, and I jumped into a swimming pool and almost drowned, and it was funny. Yeah, but in a good way. Like, it was all laughs.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't, like, upset about it. But I jumped in the swimming pool. I was like, oh, my God, I can't swim. And I'm like...
Oh, my God. That's terrifying.
Yeah. Good times. I'll tell you the rest of it.
Yeah. So, when you're on the road...
Mm-hmm.
What is your go-to gas station snack?
Oh, I mean, Jay and I, beef jerky. 100%.
Yeah, every time?
Jerky.
Slim Jims or...
And so if it's a proper gas station, so if it's not like a commercial gas station, we'll literally get like, if it's like the homemade beef jerky. Yeah. I'm like, what's that all about? Let's test that out. Yeah, for sure.
Is there any area that has better homemade beef jerky?
I think literally in the prairies, man.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing to do, and there's no major, like, you're not going to like a Shell or a Petro. Like,
right.
It's literally the side of the road gas station.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
they have nothing to do out there but make jerky.
Make jerky. Yeah, literally. Yeah.
Now, someone who's probably traveled quite a bit, where is one of the weirdest venues you've had to play? Maybe not even necessarily with U.S.S. Maybe even with Del Asher.
Yeah, that's a good question too. I mean, we did some really small, weird one. There was we did this East Coast tour, and I think it was just trying to fill dates to get to Halifax, basically. But we played like literally a bistro. Like, it would be like the whole restaurant was probably as big as your basement here, and the stage was the couch.
Wow. So not very big.
Yeah. And like we're like aggressive and loud. Like even though we're like kind of a pop band, but it's like super heavy and loud.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're like, dial it down. And
Really?
I'm like, oh my god.
Oh,
are you
that's
kidding
a
me?
weird.
Yeah.
That
And the first time I played Germany was like that too. It was the first venue. I don't know if it was in Munich or not, but the first venue was really really small, and everyone's like, you got to be quieter, and I'm like, oh, that's not how we play, man. We're like in your face and like
Yeah.
loud, like it's like drum and bass music, like with huge like bass drops. Like, what do you want? So
exactly.
yeah.
And have you ever? So you've played all over the world. Have you gone to Australia?
No, so I didn't actually. I don't think U.S.S went to Australia either. I haven't had a chance to go to Australia. I'd
Yeah.
love to. That'd
Yeah.
be amazing.
That's
we
one
did,
of the bucket lists.
with me in the band. We did a lot of Europe and we did Asia a bit. I didn't get to do Japan. I was a little bummed out
Oh,
about
no,
that.
eh?
Yeah. Well, like Liam. So Liam, our manager, shout out Liam, Colleen, I love you. He was the drummer for Not by Choice. If you remember,
cool. I
that
definitely
band.
remember
Yeah,
Not by
yeah,
Choice. They
yeah.
had a really fun music video that like
Yeah.
spoofed.
It was
I
it
like
was that
band.
whole like
That Much Music.
the Much Music thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
can't.
was great.
The,
Yeah.
the song is slipping me, but
Yeah.
I could sing it.
Yeah. Oh, I could definitely sing it right now. I'm not going to, but I could sing it. Yeah. But so he's like, hey man, like I get this email. He's like, I'm not trying to take your job, but there's no money in this tour. They were opening for Simple Plan, who's on the same management as us.
Right.
And he's like, I'm not trying to take your job, but there's no money in this tour, and I'm already going because I'm the manager, and I'm like, I'm just gonna play. And I was like, okay, cool, like have fun with it,
Yeah.
like all good. And then he also had to fill in with me. I was talking to Robbie about this last night. He had to fill in because I had a lot of back taxes at one point,
Okay.
and the CRA has an agreement with France. So we were playing underneath the Eiffel Tower, and I couldn't go play the show because I owed taxes in Canada.
Really?
That's a real thing. Pay your taxes.
Pay your taxes.
Pay your
folks.
taxes. Yeah.
You can't play in France.
Yeah.
Underneath the Eiffel
Yeah,
Tower.
so I missed that one, and Liam played, but I guess it wasn't a good show.
Yeah.
I heard it wasn't the best show. Yeah.
Fair
so
enough.
yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Do you have any pre-show rituals?
So actually, yeah, definitely. So I was saying with Parsons, so I listen to music, and I usually listen to like hardcore,
Okay.
like to get pumped. Like,
Is there like a go-to band?
well, Comeback Kid is like always in there, but Comeback Kid and Evergreen Terrace are like my
Nice.
Evergreen Terrace specifically.
Yeah, they
Like,
were a really cool band.
I tweeted those guys so hard that they started finally responding to me, and I'm like, when's the next show? You got to come back to Canada. Like, what's up? Yeah. But we did this arena tour, and every night it was Dead Horses or it was Broken Arrows.
Cool.
And I was just like, and it was funny, like the one other guy in the band would come over, he's like, what are you listening to? And I'm like, Evergreen Terrace, or like Come Back In. He's like, they're dope, because he loved hardcore too. And I just like jump around and like get pumped. And also, as cheesy as it is, I need that like just the bump or the like the little hands in, like it actually makes a huge difference.
Right. You need some sort of like team
if,
connection.
If I go on stage and we're all kind of separate, like I feel weird. I feel disconnected. So
Sure, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta always have that team
yeah,
kind of like mentality whenever
yeah,
you're
for
in a
sure.
band.
Well, you're a family, right? You're
Yeah.
on the road. You're living together, so
You're gonna
yeah.
bicker sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Family is just how it is,
It
right?
happens. It happens. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Now, normally when I ask my guests, I would say this band is at the big. You're at the size of Metallica, but your folks are pretty big. So let's just say U.S.S. You're at the level that you guys are. You guys are always selling out shows. But in this case, what would you ask for if you had an unlimited
the rider
budget? Yeah.
Oh, like budget or rider
Yeah, an unlimited
like-
budget for your rider.
for the rider. Oh man. I mean, all the beef jerky? I don't know. Like unlimited. Well, so we started this thing. So he was our monitor guy, and then he became our sound guy, tour manager. Dan Graham, love you, Dan Graham. He had this light bulb that he just got like at a dollar store or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like the party bulb.
Yeah.
So if you turn it, it's like just like colorful lights.
Yeah.
So we started having like, okay, here's the green room. here's the party dance room, and that was like our thing. So I'm like that to like the billionth extent, like full on like PA, like, and like not Jay DJing, but like like let's get Steve Aoki in there,
Sure.
like just like pumping us up before the
That's
show.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like something like that,
cool.
throwing cakes in everyone's faces.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I mean, that's where I'd go with it.
Yeah, that's definitely like just like a pre-show party.
Yeah,
and
for
then
sure.
before you get on stage, that would definitely loosen you up before
Yeah.
you ended up on there.
Yeah, definitely.
That's
for
a good
sure.
answer. Like
Yeah.
straight up like a mini rave.
Yeah,
for
like
yourself.
I want a show before we have to play a show.
before the
basically.
show.
Yeah, like get my favorite artist, get Peter Gabriel in there. Like,
there you go.
Yeah. He's like, don't give up.
Yeah. That's super cool. All right, I've only got one more question for you. What are your top 5 favorite or influential bands of all time? If you can't give me 5, give me 3.
Well, I can give you 5 for sure. Okay, so number 1, easy. This is easy for me. Saves the Day.
Right on, yeah.
And in the realm of music, they're relatively newer. I would say, right? Like 1999 when Can't Slow Down came out. But there's something that it kind of broke my heart too, because Chris Conley, the lead singer, did an interview, and he said on that album that it was a creative writing thing he did for school, because he went to, I think he was in Princeton. Like he dropped out. I don't think he finished, but like it was a creative writing thing. And so he's like, all the lyrics are just like stories. And I'm like, no, like I believed in everything. Like there's a song about divorce, and like my parents got divorced, and I was like, oh my God, this is my life. And he's like, oh, I just made it up. And I'm like, you suck. But, but no, so Saves the Day for sure. Depeche Mode.
Nice.
Number 2, big time.
Yeah.
That was like probably the first cassette tape I ever had was Music for the Masses.
Yeah.
So I was really, really into that.
People don't know how the impact that Depeche Mode had in the 80s, man.
They were huge.
They were huge. When I was in grade 8, my teacher was like, she made us like watch like a behind the music MTV thing about Depeche Mode. She was like, you're gonna learn about Depeche Mode.
Yeah, it was crazy. And they like had backing tracks, but it was literally from reel to reel. So they had their like stage manager hit play, and the whole set couldn't end. Like, it had to be exactly what it is, because it was just literally this tape playing.
Wow.
So there's no stop, like, oh, like, we messed up, or he wants to talk to the crowd. It was just like, go.
Stop.
Like,
There's no time to stop.
Yeah,
wow, that's super cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know
crazy.
about that.
Yeah, it was crazy. There's a really good documentary of them playing at the Rose Bowl, and it shows that. And it's it's pretty intense.
Cool.
Damn, I was like, I can do 5 easy, and I'm like, got 2. And
I know.
I'm like, I'm out. Punk rock, No Effects, obviously.
Yeah.
Big time.
Huge, cool band.
Yeah, for sure. I loved they weren't necessarily my favorite Fat Records band, but they were like kind of what got me into it, with Face to Face as well. But like No Effects was like, I owned every single album. Like I was just like trying to find all the demos, you know.
They're a rad band to follow too, like that TV show that they have.
Backstage Passport is so good. I know. I was talking about that last night too with Robbie. I was like, you haven't seen it yet?
Oh man, if anyone hasn't seen it,
watch Backstage Passport.
It's on YouTube.
That tour manager is like he's the craziest dude ever. When he's smashing his head through the airport window, and then he loses all the money from the one show. He's like, I got robbed. It's like, no, you're just drunk and like spent it. Like, that was crazy. And not to be too cliche, but obviously Nirvana was like huge on me too. I like drumming, like Dave Grohl, man. Like, I'm a drummer, so you know, like obviously John Bonham, but then Dave Grohl is like the new John Bonham, and like, and Taylor Hawkins, rest in peace. Like,
rest in peace.
Yeah, for sure. Like definitely Foo Fighters, Nirvana big time.
Yeah.
And then is that 4? I think that's 4. And then
4?
5th would be. 5th. I should name someone new. I mean, I listen to so much new music. It's hard, because there's so much music out there, right?
Constantly happening.
I'm gonna say number 5 is Hellbent.
There you go.
No respect though. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure,
Primitive Hits in. You can go check it out on Spotify right now.
Check it out. It's up there. Yeah, I got it in my playlist.
Right on. Well, I think we can end it there. So if you want to plug all the socials, and if you have anything else that you want to plug or give us shout outs to.
I think just the socials, I'm pretty sure it is U.S.S. Music. Like at U.S.S. Music, I think is all across the board. And then, I mean, I'm not up to too much, man. If you want to check me out on SoundCloud, it's MCPM.
Nice. Oh, yeah.
Like all 30 COVID songs are up there. There's some pretty funny gems in there. So,
yeah, and your Twitch channel is?
Same, MCPM. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And for the last couple of those U.S.S. shows, you guys are doing like a huge donation too, right?
Yeah, so the Elma Combo shows, I'm really stoked on this actually because the band asked me, they're like, we're doing 3 shows.
Mm-hmm.
Each night we pick a charity. So I picked Sea Shepherd, which I like have been a supporter of for God knows how many years at this point. Amazing charity, and just out there. Like, if we don't have our oceans, our Earth doesn't exist.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, basically, that's the bottom line of it, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, for sure. Yeah. And then Jay picked, he got a rescue dog from Egypt. I can't remember what his charity is, but like it's the charity that he got the dog from.
Yeah.
And then Ash picked Special Olympics.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, folks, if you want to go check out U.S.S., definitely go get your tickets at USSmusic.com. Thank you for joining me today.
Dude,
thank you for helping us with the sound.
Dude,
I know
no worries,
the
man.
folks that are going to be watching this, they didn't get to experience this, but we had a little bit of tech difficulty. And
listen,
who
sound
else?
guy extraordinaire.
I'm
here to help.
But Matt Murphy to help us out. Awesome. Well, let's
Thank-
end it there.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Phil.
Perfect.